We're going to talk about how to set up installment plans for your invoices and have Benji Pays automatically process multiple payments against an invoice on a schedule that you define. So this is actually quite simple to do. We can do that for any invoice that's in your accounting system that doesn't already have an install plan on it and that has an outstanding balance on it. So to do this, first thing you can do if you want, under Open Invoices and Processing, if you go to Open Invoices, you're going to see a list of all your current invoices with an outstanding balance. Now this should match your accounts receivable report in your accounting system. This is a live list for QuickBooks Online and Xero Accounting, and it's live for QuickBooks Desktop as of the last synchronization that you made, plus any payments that have been made since then. So we can see here, we've got this invoice for Kathy's consulting company that we're going to set up an installment plan for. So to do this, we're going to go to the installment plans menu and we're going to click create plan. We're going to find the customer, Kathy's consulting company, and we're going to select the invoice 1645. Click new installment plan. So here we can see that we're presented with this default view. We can see the invoice date, the due date, the total amount of the invoice, and the current outstanding balance of the invoice. If we need to, we can click PDF here and we can view the invoice as we would see it in this case out of QuickBooks Online. In this case, we're going to set up an installment plan, and we're going to set up an installment plan with 6 payments. So you can see right now there's only 4 rows. We can add as many rows as we want, or remove them and leave it. You could have even just 1 if you wanted to. So in this case, we're going to do, let's do 5. So the first thing is that the total of all the installments must match the invoice balance, not the invoice total, but the current outstanding balance. The next thing is that any installments must be on or after the invoice's due date. In this case, that's August 8th, 2021. So we're going to make an installment that runs for 5 weeks. And splits this up in some sort of manner. This is super flexible. You can have this run however you want. It doesn't have to be, once a week or once a day. You can just choose the dates and set it up however you like. So do one here, there. And 24th. And so we have $260 left, and we'll set that for September 30th. So once we've got the total matching, this will turn black, and we know that that's good to go. If you were to add another one now, we would see that there's an error here. So we're just going to delete that. Okay, so the next thing is that you can have installment plans run against any of the cards that are set up for this customer. So in this case, there's all these cards this customer has set up. If we leave this at the default attempt all profiles, this will attempt all profiles based on all card profiles based on the priority that's set, just like any other invoice in the system. However, some of your customers might say, look, for this installment plan, I want to use a very specific card. I only want it charged against this card. So if that's the case, you can choose that card, and Benji Pays will only use that card for this installment plan. That means if this card declines, it will not attempt any of the other backup cards in the system. For this one, we're going to leave it as actually, you know what? We'll leave it as attempt all profiles, and we'll show how we can change that later. So now I'm going to click Save Installment Plan, and we're done. So that installment plan is set up. When Benji Pays runs tomorrow, nothing's going to happen to this invoice because the first payment is due on August 21st. So we're just going to close that. Here we can see that we can now edit this installment plan, which takes us back to that screen. We can delete this installment plan. The reason we're able to delete this installment plan is because no transactions have occurred against it. As soon as even one of the transactions has occurred, you can no longer delete the installment plan, but you will still be able to edit it. So if we go back up to our installment plan menu here and click View Plans, we can see we have a couple of installment plans set up. They're going to be ordered in the chronologically based on the next due payment. They're going to show you the next amount that's due. You can again view the PDF, and from here you can go and edit it. If you click the little plus signs, you're going to see a summary of any of the transactions that have already occurred, and if those installments are complete and any that haven't. And you'll see that some of these that should have occurred by now haven't occurred. This is our test environment. We haven't run the nightly processing on it, and so that's why these haven't gone through. Or it could be that we ran it and the card was declined. And so here's the installment plan that we completed. Obviously nothing is run against it, and so nothing is showing as completed. So what we can do here also is, if you want to see what those installment plans look like when a customer is sent the invoice. So if we say get payment link, we're going to say we're sending that using our Moneris. This is going to be the same link as if we email this invoice the customer. Note that you won't see an email option on QuickBooks Desktop. You'll just be able to get the payment link, and that's because we can't get the PDF of that invoice out of QuickBooks Desktop, but we can for Xero and QuickBooks Online. So if we go and view the invoice, we're going to see the installment plan details here. The customer's going to be able to choose an existing card on file. In this case, we said we want to use our Moneris gateway, so that's the only card we have in the Moneris gateway. Or they can choose to enter a new card and have that saved, and that this will process the payment for the installment plan, and it'll save that card on file. So go back here and look at the plans we've got. Let's say we wanted to change something on here. The customers called and said they need a little bit of extra time to pay that last invoice, the last payment that we have on September 30th. So we're going to give them till October 31st. And actually, we're going to reduce that. We're going to make that $130. We're going to actually add another payment on October 15th. We've told them we will split that up. And yes, I know these are out of order on here, but when we save them, it's going to put them in order for us. They will always be run based on the date. They'll always be presented to you in order chronologically. And the other thing they said is, look, we only want to use this card for this installment plan, so we're going to save that as well. And close this, and now we can see here, this is the card that's going to be used for this installment plan. We can view that profile if we want to just double check and make sure it's the right card. And that's how you set up installment plans. That's how you edit them. It's quite straightforward. So this is a pretty powerful feature that allows you to split up payments for invoices when needed, and let Benji Pays take care of all that scheduling.